why do they say, at least you woke up this morning, or God gave you another day to rise again, you're blessed because you woke up this morning, you know? You're alive, so count your blessings. These things, why is this said so much? Why do we hear it so often? Well, I was reading Psalms um 104, God the Creator, verse 29. It says, when you hide your face, they are terrified. When you take away their breath, they die and return to dust. When you send your breath, they are created, and you renew the face of the earth. When you send your breath, they are created. When you take away their breath, they return to dust. So every morning when you wake up, or every moment you receive that breath is the breath of God. You are created, you know? When God takes away that breath, you return to dust. So that is the meaning of what it means to still be well and alive every single morning. This is what, okay, so that verse, when you take away your breath, when God takes away his breath, you return to dust. You know, all of this energy that we put into certain things, we give so much energy to so many things in this world. You know, you just don't know how powerful your breath is, and maybe this is God telling you your breath is powerful. Believe in yourself the way I believe in you. You believe in you, you believe in me, for I am the creator of creation. I created you, you know? So therefore, it's like we give our breath away. We put our breath into so many things. You know, we make these things worthy. We make these things valuable. We give these things meaning. You know, when every time you pick up that cigarette, you know, you giving your breath to that cigarette is giving meaning to that cigarette. You're making that cigarette existent. You know, what is this cigarette without you? You picking up that mound and rolling up, you know, you picking up that swisher and rolling up that weed. What is these things without you? What is these herbs without you if you didn't give meaning to it? You know, you picking up that bottle of liquor, you giving meaning to it. You picking up, just like that one video I was watching of the freaking invisible, the invisible or the transparent pizza, the transparent hamburger. What are these ideas without you? You know, what your breath is will make you giving breath. You giving life to these things. You're giving life. You know, you are alive. So therefore, when we put our being or we put our breath into things that aren't alive, we're taking off that dust. We're brushing off the dust of these things, and we're giving these things meaning, giving these things purpose. We're bringing life into these things. We're breathing life into these things, just as God breathes life into our nostrils, breathe life into our being. Because who are we without God? Who are we but a dust, but the dust on the ground? That, you know, without God's breath, you will return back to the dust of which you were. But without God in our spirit, who are we? We're not as vibrant. We're not vibrant at all. You know, we're just there. We're just existent. You know, we're just there as a leaf on the ground, or a rock on the ground, or the grass, you know, or the leaves withering. You know, that's who we are. You know, we're just there to see until it eventually dies off. We have no wisdom, you know. We're just there. Who are we? You know, but that very person, or that very, voice, um, wondering who we are, you know? Who are we? God makes us us. God is our creator. God is our manifester. You know, in which direction will we go if not to God? You know? So yeah, just think about it as that. You know, God is that breath breathing into us. Just think of it as you is that weed. You know, you is that cigarette. You is that alcohol. You know, but until God brings that bottle of alcohol to your lips, what are you? Until God rolls that weed up into that swisher and applies a breath, who are you? Until God, you know, did I say the cigarette yet? Brings that cigarette to his lips and puff, who are you? Until God picks up that sandwich and tastes, who are you? You know, who are you? Because that moment is when you become relevant. That moment is when you flourish. That moment is when you become more than what you were, because now you have flourished. You know, you have flourished through God, and now you have become of purpose, of meaning. You have become relevant. You know? So yeah. We sit and we wait for the Lord to speak, for the Lord to, direct us and guide us in the way that we shall go. Because without the Lord, we are confused. Without the Lord, we are stagnant in all of our ways. Without the Lord, we are blind. Without the Lord, we cannot hear. Without the Lord, we cannot see. Without the Lord, we are not fed. Without the Lord, we become thirsty and we sit in thirst. Without the Lord, that thirst is not quenched. Without the Lord, we are not satisfied. Without the Lord, we remain in this blindfold, you know. And for many, many times, I have been in that blindfold. But I wouldn't have called myself blind. I wasn't blind. It's when you cannot see. When you can't see is when you can see, honestly. But being in that blindfold, it just makes everything easier, you know. You know what you cannot do. Just as I said, without the Lord, you cannot see. Without the Lord, you cannot hear. So, walking in that blindfold, it's like, I don't know. It's just easier. Sometimes it makes it easier, you know. It does make it easier because you wasn't where you are now. But back then, it was easy. This was faith. You know, having that blindfold on, but at the same time, you do. The world was the only way. When you walk by the world, it makes it easy. You know, it makes it tolerable. You can tolerate everything that's coming towards you because you are walking with the Lord. You are walking with the world. Although you feel like you're not a part of the world, and eventually this will show at the times where you are walking with the world, but your spirit is not of the world. So you're walking with the world, but you know that your spirit is not of the world. And this will eventually show. You know how you got that human and you got that vampire. The vampire can only seem human for a while, but eventually that thirst will be revealed, because that vampire will become hungry, and therefore it will feed. You know, and this is when you are revealed, because they know in that moment that, oh, you aren't what you've seen, you're actually more, you know. And this is how the spirit is. You can only walk by the world for a certain amount of time until your spirit begins to, you know, become more. Your spirit begins to your spirit begins to overtake, you, because your spirit needs fed. So therefore, your spirit will reveal you to those people, or reveal you to the world. And in this time of revealing itself, the world will say, oh, you are not of the world. And then that's the way you will walk. But like I said, having this blindfold on for so much time was you being of the world, tolerating the world in all of its wicked ways. You're tolerant of the world with this blindfold on, until eventually your spirit broke you out of that blindfold and made you see who you are, made you become who you are. Because your spirit needs to be fed. So therefore, that blindfold was only temporary. But you didn't even know this. You didn't even know this, So it's like at that time when you feel like you can tolerate the world and this and that, and you're walking in a blindfold, it's only temporary. Because eventually you'll see that nothing is satisfying you. And you'll just know and feel your senses. This word came to mind, presence. Presence. The more we just pay attention to the spelling and stuff, it just kind of reveals itself to us. What does presence mean? Presence means, the present moment, right? That's what we think, the present moment. This is what presence means. It means the present moment. But when you dig a little bit deeper into it and you see the word for what it actually is, what does presence mean? Presence, presence. So we take this word as a present, but really the present moment, if you break it down, what does pre mean? Previous, in the past tense, pre. And then sense is sensual, a sensual feeling, how you feel, sensitive. So presence is what? What is presence? Presence is a previous sensual feeling that we used to feel in the past tense moments. Present is the past. Past is the present. There would be no present without the past. You are feeling the sensory, You are the present. We are the result. We are the product of our past. This present moment, present, the product of the past, all the sensory, all the feelings wrapped in one box of the past. You are receiving your past tense in the present, because the present is nothing without the past. Those the pre-sensual feelings of the past. Present. Previous emotions. You. That's what present means. Present means you. Who you are now, who you are today, and what made you today in this moment. So yeah, that's my little wake up morning event, and I will see y'all next time. Like, comment, subscribe, be notified, and share at your own free will to show you care. See y'all.